I started my day waking up at 4:30 a.m., catching a 6 a.m. train for 3 hours, doing an hour-and-a-half hike to Cornelia. I'm in Cinque Terre National Park, which is just 5 beautiful coastal Italian cities connected by remarkable hiking trails through the mountains. It's pretty much everything you could ever hope for. And now we're on another hour-and-a-half hike, and this place is fantastic. I'm really excited to just take lots of photos, explore, kind of see what traveling is like alone. I've never really traveled alone before, and so far, I'm loving it. It's basically like, I'm stubborn, I like doing my own thing, and now that's all I get to do. So far, it's a blast. So we'll see. Maybe I'll want to travel with friends in the future. Maybe I'll want to dump all of my friends and just live in the mountains forever. Who knows? Who knows? Pretty much just straight up a mountain between Cornelia and Manorolo. And mind my pronunciation. I'm sure anyone that is even remotely close to Italy will know how horrible it is. But if you're in America, you probably think I sound authentic. So that's awesome. Current life situation. I'm staying in an Airbnb in Vernazza, which is the second northernmost town. It's tiny and it's February right now, which means it's off season. Apparently this place becomes overrun with tourists later in the season in like May, April. So I wanted to get here when it was empty. But as a result, all the restaurants are closed. So we have 2 restaurants open in Vernazza. In the last town I was in, Cornelia, there was 1 restaurant, which actually was fantastic, and it makes making decisions much easier. So I love that it's not super crowded. And apparently, if you go in like peak season, say June or July, there's actually a queue waiting to go on these trails. So you have to wait in line before you get to go hiking, and they're just packed. That sounds like everything I don't want out of hiking. You know, I hike to be alone and escape and do my own thing and to be surrounded by tourists, and not to sound elitist, but I really like the crowd that goes to US national parks and camp. They're usually very wholesome and friendly and respectful to the environment. But places like this where you can take the train between each town and stay in a really cushy Airbnb, which I know I'm guilty of, you end up getting these tourists who are like the epitome of tourists, the ones who carry around selfie sticks. And I can't really talk much crap about these people because look what I'm doing right now. I'm just as bad as them. And one more thing, my Airbnb, which is beautiful, is only $36 for the night, which is really good steal actually. But it was actually less than a lot of the hostels. Seems really nice. I can show you guys inside my camera bag real quick. We've got the 24-105 lens, 200mm telephoto, just a lens hood, a bunch of batteries, water bottle, and baby tripod. Trying to pack light, but realistically I still have a lot of stuff. Last thing, I hope you guys appreciate the hiking boots and jacket wrapped around my waist. Now for some camera-free hiking. Whatever it takes for a good photo. Really cool curve right here. Working with a lot of thorns over here. Let's hope that photo was worth it. I believe I'm about 20 minutes from Manorolo. I might just have someone else say these names and then dub them for me because I know I'm saying them so wrong. This walk has been phenomenal. Now my knees hurt because this has been strenuous and everything I hoped for. Seeing like there are wet parts of the trail where people with regular shoes had to like dance around and climb over, and I just like cruised right through without caring. Having waterproof shoes for hiking, who knew it'd be nice? Skate shoes don't do the trick. We got a little barking battle. Mountain versus mountain. Grazie, grazie. The city is straight out of Horton Hears a Who. Just any Dr. Seuss book. Ciao. This is the last town I was at. These are the mountains we hiked, and now we are here. Also, very similar looking town. Beautiful. For anyone wondering, this is the Airbnb. I'm gonna get some Italian food or whatever one of the 2 restaurants in this town has open, and I'm gonna eat that. And it's probably gonna be good. No luck. Not bad. Day 2, we are now hiking from Vernazzo to Monte Rosso, which everyone says is really sick. And apparently it's a strenuous hike. It's been raining a little bit, and they say don't go on the trails when it's wet. But I just saw grandparents come off the trail, and they said it wasn't too bad, so I trust grandparents more than anything.
There's one area that's kind of fallen down, but you can get around it.
Okay, well enjoy Vernazza. Gotta assume that old people are grandparents. The Italians don't understand breakfast. That might be my one biggest complaint about Italy. They're not that into it. So I had a slice of pie for breakfast, which is kind of sick, but eggs and real breakfast food would have been cool. It's hard to complain that I ate pie for breakfast. This place is great. I keep debating the merits of coming here in February when it's off season. So last night for dinner, one thing that was really cool is I went and I was planning to read a book actually and just be alone. I ended up meeting this nice couple at the bar and just ended up hanging out with them for a while. And that's one of those cool things with like, when it's a small town, you build community pretty fast because you're all sort of stuck together, and we ended up having a great conversation. Shout out to John and Lauren. Perfect wall of tripods. As you can see, we're super close to Monteiro, so a couple thoughts on the trails. First, this took me all of 2 hours, and that was with frequent photo breaks. And at one point, I just stopped to appreciate a really nice view for 10 minutes. So I'd say maybe hour 15, hour and a half if you walk at a normal brisk pace. Another thing is these trails, normally trails are meant to be very subtle, like you don't realize that they're trails and they've been constructed. The goal is to make them very like just integrated into nature. These trails are not that by any means. They're very constructed. As you can see, there's so many tourists that pass through every year, they have to make it like this. But the way they've done it has been very tasteful, like super beautiful. All these nice stone paths. It's a beautiful, beautiful trek. I gotta say trek, not hike while I'm in Europe. Also, the people are super nice. I met some people hitchhiking from Rome to Amsterdam. I met a group of people that gave me a water bottle because I had none, super friendly. Another thing is because it's February and off season, the trail is free, but during peak season you have to buy a trail card, which I think is like €7 per day. Not much, but still another perk of coming now. I'm currently full of pesto and just delighted to be alive. This is all fantastic. And now to shoot photos. Wallet pod, the splash zone. I have some good news and I have some bad news. Good news, this place is beautiful, as I've said 25 times. Bad news, it turns out there's a ripstick scene here. Rio Maggiore, 10 out of 10. I've got 3 hours now to shoot photos of the sunset, or what's left of it, try and catch some reflections in the water, eat some dinner, maybe have a few drinks, and then head back to Florence. Alright, hope you guys enjoyed the video. A couple things I want to say. First, I really need your advice on something. I'm not sure how this video turned out. I know that's a strange thing to say, but basically my struggle lately has been trying to find a balance between making cool content when I travel and enjoying traveling and not just vlogging my face off, because I'm not always the biggest fan of vlogging and I feel like it sometimes detracts from what I'm already doing. And especially when I'm outside trying to enjoy nature, talking to a camera isn't necessarily my top priority. So I tried not to do it too much on this trip and just strike a balance where I would talk a little bit for long segments and then overlay footage of what I found was interesting. But I'm not sure if it got boring at times. Please let me know in the comments what you guys think of this. I'm just trying to find that perfect place to be where I'm still making content, but also enjoying making the content. Your advice is always appreciated, and I know that none of you guys are afraid to be mean in the comments, so please have fun with that. Also, if you want to see more of my photos from this trip, I have them all up in my website in high quality, where you can also check out, I have prints for sale, some of my favorite shots, and I have my full camera setup reviewed so you can see how I shot all these photos and videos. And most of this was all done with my DSLR and my iPhone, this trip at least. Also, if you're curious how I shot all these photos, you can find them on my Instagram, where I've included all of the manual settings I used to shoot them, aperture, shutter speed, etc. Definitely check that out. Link to my Instagram over here. And one last thing, if you want to see more of my travel videos, I've gone to a bunch of national parks in the US. Link to that whole playlist right over here. And that is all I have to say. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I look forward to hearing your feedback, and I will see you eventually.